both of these ideas, honestly, have been noodling around. Hi.
Judging forms.
Oh, judging forms and documentation. Although I believe you may have all had it digitally. Because.
But I did not bring it.
That's okay. That's okay. Because I have spent the last week at a mushroom dyeing symposium.
Oh, with Kiva.
Yes, I was with Kiva. I know. So I have had all this ready for a week in the back of my car. Oh, actually, you get two. So that's what it is.
I didn't know it was going to be here, but I just
That's okay.
realized that when I grabbed the papers and stapled it, I also stapled my gnocchi recipe.
Your what?
Gnocchi recipe.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'm ready to go.
I am unapologetic about the length of this one.
Nope.
Because that's not something I can fit in the page.
No,
Obviously,
no,
this is the short
No,
one.
no, I love
Because-
information.
Oh my god.
Yay.
You.
That was shorter, I promise. But even then, you know, I did a lot of different things on it. So, Totes Magotes, man. You can find that YouTube link. I'll do a little. Anyway, so, hello. My name is Claire Ledayer, her ladyship of the Barony of Dragonsmith, woo-woo, of whose lands these are. And I've been working, or at least thinking about both these projects for honestly a very long time. I wasn't really thinking about being prepared to do a championship this time of the pandemic, but the theme was humor. So I thought there's no better time than to get this out of my head. And oh wait, I did this spring, all I have to do is write it up. Which was actually a longer time than I thought it was going to be. So project number one, the Totes Magotes bag, or as the documentation says, it's goats, all the way down. As you can see, a while ago, there was a silly little Sprint video with a commercial of James Earl Jones and Malcolm McDowell reading text messages of, he's a total Hottie McHutterson, he's cray cray dorps, Totes Magotes, and James Earl Jones went, Totes Magotes. And I thought, what if I made a goat bag? So I decided, okay, that's kind of fun. And with this humor idea, I finally did. This, my friends, is the Totes Magotes bag.
Oh my. Oh. Yeah.
So I thought about this for a hot second and looked online, and goat fiber is apparently not that easy to felt. So I totally discarded the idea of wet felting. The fabric is from Mill End and is about, well, they didn't give me the percentage, so it's a goat wool blend. Started with that. They also had this lovely goat fabric lining because I thought it looked ridiculous. And that's where that part started. So the bag went, well, there's some nice pewter buttons online. Oh no, I like these goat eyes better. Sewed on the goat eyes, went, wait, it needs a face. So I gave it a face. Went, how crazy can I get with this? Do I have enough time? And then I decided, yes, I did. And so I carved in an evening. It's a combination of silk and hemp thread, silk for strength and hemp thread because it seemed goaty, you know, appropriate thing. And I carved.
They probably eat.
Yeah, yes, and some barnyardy. So I carved that and did the block printing in an evening on my desk. I've never, in my knowledge, never actually block printed with a lino block before, so that was kind of interesting. I've done the rubber stamping one. I would say the biggest time-consuming part was the strap, which for reasons I chose Silk Noro Garden Solo. Solo meaning it only had one color, because at the yarn store, there was a few goat fibers. This one was 45% goat, 45% silk, and 10% wool, and it was the least fuzzy of anything that had goat in it. I could have used something else, but it's goats all the way down, folks. So I went with that one. The weaving was quite challenging. I've never used this Suna heddle before. You'll note it does not have your standard 2 set of slots and dots. And the yarn did not want to separate very well, but it's very big, so I could use my fingers. And it was supposed to say, in runes, Totes Magotes. But it didn't come out very well for reasons which I'll explain in a hot second. But I successfully got 3 repeats. For repeat number 2, I changed it up a little and made the pattern different, so it's not a true repeat, but in terms of saying the word 3 times. This one, I made a mistake. and I realized it very quickly. Pattern threads number 2 and 10 were not used at all, so they had to get sewn down later. Oops. Oopsies! This might not be the final strap because it's not very nice looking, to be honest, but that's okay. It's my first time using Baltic pickup weaving, which is what this shuttle is designed to do. This week I got this shuttle, which was much more helpful, honestly. Get to that in a second. Oh, and of course, goat bells. So I didn't really like it. It didn't come out very well, as you can see. You can't really read what's going on. It's a hot mess. But it was goats, so it got to stay. I went to an amazing conference this week, and there was a man selling this shuttle that I said, oh my God, yes, I want it, because I knew that's what I needed, but I couldn't get a plastic one in time, so I used a regular shuttle with my fingers. And right before I left for the conference, I reworked with silk, and it started out again. Not very good, but it was better because it was silk and it wasn't sticking to each other. And there was a lady there who'd done this at some point years before, and so we sat down and kind of noodled. And we figured that every time I had to pick up a pattern thread, I would drop a background thread, is how it ended up working out. Normally I should have my pattern threads be much thicker, and they're also doubled, so that should make it float to the top. But if these ended up being pretty similar to each other in thickness, so that dropping of a background thread actually works a lot better in my opinion. And so I was very pleased by the end that I actually got it to say Totes Magotes in Anglo-Saxon runes. I hope my translation to the runes is correct. It came out of the Languages of Middle-earth by Tolkien. Because the Futhark didn't have the G, and I needed the G. So, everything is hand-stitched, as I said, partially with the silk, which is obvious because it's the brown, and then other parts, like, you can't see because there's a liner. I think these are sewn on with the hemp. A little bit of elastic, just because it's nice for buttons, that kind of thing. And I did the liner mostly because if it's going to eventually get some crumbs in it.
Oh,
Easier
nice.
to dust out that way.
Nice.
So, and quite honestly, I'll probably take the bells off at some point because they're annoying.
What?
Well, we'll see. I might see if I can put some glue on the bits or something so they don't jingle and just have the bells. Think about walking through camp at 10, 11 at night. Back
I do this.
Yeah.
You know, camp at night.
So, here's the yarn that I used. So you can see that. So it's a single ply, very, not the kind of thing you'd use for weaving, but there's a theme. At some point,
Did you spin it?
no, I did not. I bought that commercially. I am not a good spinner.
Me neither.
And none of my goat was any colors. They're just, by the time I thought about doing the strap part, I mean, there's just a lot of little things that went into that. And by the time I thought about that, I had about a week left, and I thought about buying some weaving yarn from Yarnia, but they sell it in separate strings not plied together, and I honestly kind of thought with the weaving that would be a big pain.
Yeah.
So I decided to go that route instead. This was not actually much of a pain as you would think. A helpful book that I got last minute, organic from Amazon, Weaving Pattern Bands. I'm kind of hooked now that I've actually figured it out, and I want to do more. That is an 11 pattern heddle, or 11 pattern for the strings. What it does is it separates the strings out into 3 different sections so that you can easily pick your pattern threads. You can do this pickup weaving on an eagle, but it's harder. They actually developed this as so this is a very modern heddle that was designed to make traditional Sami weaving easier and faster.
1 minute.
Yes. I want more. I can do smaller amounts of pattern threads with that. I'll just have to be careful with the tension. So I want to pick up at least a 7. And they have another style. This is the Suna style. There's another style on a different website where they come in acrylic, but it'll be smoother with the silk, called a Siga. And the Siga has a different arrangement. In the Siga, so you have all pattern threads on and then all pattern threads off, or 3 and 3. And they'll warp a different background pattern, so it looks very cool. And they said I couldn't do runes on that. I'm gonna try anyway. You know,
Yeah.
I like
Tell an
the,
artist they can't
I
do
like the
something,
look
yeah.
of what that does, but I want to try anyway. Because the biggest problem that I had was getting those pattern threads to the top. And in some cases, actually, with this one, what I did is I would pick up a pattern thread and I would drop the background to the right. And I think actually I need to only do that half the time. On the right side, I need to do that, and on the left side, I think I need to drop the left one. And that will help a lot with exactly. Is that the end?
That is
and
the
that's
end.
the end of the bag.
And
That's good because that's the short one.
so we can either do 5 minutes for questions now or 10 minutes at the end, however you want to do it.